Out there against the pro-ranked drivers a little bit earlier today in that first session. The Mega Racing Porsche finished 13th. I'd expect to see him a little bit higher now that he's out against a lot of drivers with a similar ranking to himself.
Being very conservative with the curves there. So that you could see him turn left and right, whereas you see most drivers turn left and then straight. So they leapfrog the second curve. So he was being cautious about the penalty and how much curve he used as well while the tyre's cold.
Interestingly, they're still keeping on the dash the little communication system that they built in at the 12-hour in case they lost radio communication during the race. So indicators to let you know that you are either coming in or not coming in, and flash the lights to confirm a pit stop.
In this sessions, guys, give us an opportunity to chat to a couple of our pro drivers. Craig Baird, you've been synonymous with Porsche racing over the years, but now you're spending a lot of time in a Merc. How are you finding your time in the old, well, you've gone from one German to another, haven't you?
Yeah, it's kind of strange in a lot of ways, because GT racing, you come to one track, your car's really competitive. You go to another one, another car's competitive. So it's sort of a great equaliser, and our races are longer, so it's kind of really enjoyable. It sort of mixes it up a little bit. It gives businessmen an opportunity to drive with pros. Pros can't do it by themselves, so it's a real mix-up.
Scotty Taylor, though, great team and great guy to work with.
Yeah, he's a good bloke. He's an enjoyable guy. Hasn't done a lot of racing, and to be honest, you mentioned Carrera Cup. He hasn't been in the race car since he busted his leg at Gold Coast in Carrera Cup. So I said to him here, it's another street circuit, brother. Just go out, just use it like practice, and just build up to it slow. It's we know what this track's like. It's a game changer.
It certainly is. It's certainly hot weather this weekend, so go and keep yourself in the shade.
Yeah, mate. None of it. Sunny's on.
Awkward moment there with Scott Taylor actually parking it down the escape road while they were talking about him. Perfect timing.
It was on cue, wasn't it?
Yeah, a lot of guys returning from injury this weekend. We've got Toby Price doing so in the trucks after his nasty crash at Dakar. How he's returning from a broken femur inside 2 months, I have no idea. This guy returning from what was at the time a suspected broken femur in October. Talk about some pretty serious injuries when it's motorsport. And then Jeff Emery, 10 months out with a broken vertebra. So a lot of guys on the way back here.
Also rare too, Chad. Very rare to have that sort of injury list in one season of motorsport, because as we know, it's a very safe sport. These cars are amazingly safe, amazingly strong, but sometimes, you know, you just make contact on a strange angle, and sometimes also the cars are not quite designed to I suppose, be perfect in every instance. You see some massive accidents where everyone just, you know, walks away. But Scott's one was quite a nasty one on the Gold Coast. Not a lot of room for runoff there.
And here's another driver who returned from injury not long ago and was just instantly quick again. One thing I love gauging, Cameron, with drivers returning from an injury, and Roger Largo is a great example, straight back into the car after a nasty accident and was fast right off the back. Have you ever had an instance where you had to return from a big crash, or a time where you got hurt and then had to get your head back in the game? How'd you respond to that?
Yeah, it's a difficult one, Chad, but it's like you got to get back on the horse. In fact, the sooner you can get back in the car, the better. I mean, one that springs to mind for me was 2009 at Phillip Island, when I clashed with Stephen Owen, went backwards across the track, airborne, potentially could have been T-boned by Dave Bernard. So I didn't actually hit anything, but it was a huge accident. Then went to Bathurst 2 weeks later and got a podium. So, you know, the highs and lows of motorsport.
Yeah, Cameron, they also changed the track to make sure that couldn't happen ever again down at Phillip Island. I don't think anyone will ever replicate that one, but I've got a guy who's been blisteringly quick in GTs, Ash Walsh. Mate, you were unbelievable at the Bathurst 12-hour. Your qualifying lap with Medeski Stone was unbelievable. Now you're in an Audi, just jumping from car to car.
Yeah, I was actually planning to run the year with Matt. We had a really good 12-hour up until Sunday. It fell apart a little bit on Sunday for us, but that's okay. The deal didn't end up happening, so I spoke to Troy at MPC and ended up with James Honduras in the Audi, with Infant's Friend backing and Superbarn backing, so I'm really happy to be here. It was basically my first couple of laps out there then in qualifying, and man, it's got some grip.
The Audi is an unbelievable car, isn't it? Have you had a chance to drive the road car? Because they're pretty closely matched.
No, I haven't, but if it's anything like that, it's crazy.
Thanks, Ash. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you very much.
It's a really good point that Cameron brings up. 50% of the componentry in the road car is shared with the race car, and the chassis are actually built in the same workshop in Germany. And the scary thing is the R8 road car is actually quicker in a straight line than the race car, because it hasn't got the restrictors or the aero.
Exactly. For the BOP, the balance of performance for global GT racing, a lot of the cars, in fact all of them, have some sort of restriction to try and make them even. And like Craig Baird touched on, some circuits suit other cars. Bathurst for the 12-hour particularly suited the turbo cars, the Ferrari, the BMW, or there's an unfortunate one. So James Konduras actually went quickest. So 22.47, actually 0.15 quicker than Roger Largo. And this is Justin McMillan facing the wrong way.
Last year's reigning champ, sharing with Glenn Wood.
Got out of the way though. Can't really do a flick turn or a spin turn like a V8 when you have traction control.
Did a good job getting that back onto the track. And the South Aussie fly cam will chase him down towards the centre chicane and relive what happened at turn 14. Pushing the limits.
Yeah, I'd say, mate, yeah, that's a strange one. So perhaps just a little bit too much mid-corner speed. And what sometimes we call like a flat slide, like the rear just coming around. Sometimes the front of the car can be too quick for the rear, too responsive, and it unloads the rear of the car.
Here's O'Donnell. He's had a few of these moments.
He's been consistent, hasn't he? Makes me feel better in Carrera Cup with my curb strikes today. That's, yeah, that's a penalty for sure. When you got all four on the dirt. Probably just needs to slow his entry speed down a little bit, try and get through the first part, or he's going to spend a long day in the race coming through the pits with those penalties.
Here comes Fraser Ross in the Techno Autosport McLaren. This car looking splendid. Got a bit of a French-coloured livery, and that's quite appropriate this weekend, as they do have Com Letigar. Actually qualified the car in 4th earlier today. Did a great job. And now Fraser's trying to back off because he wants to get a bit of clean track, and at the same time he's backed right up into Scott Taylor's path. I missed who that third car was coming through in the background. I think it might have been Liam Talbot ducking into pit lane there. So he's got a bit of clean track to work with. Spent the weekend observing how Techno work at the 12-hour, stepping out of Carrera Cup where he showed some pretty promising speed. A former GT3 Cup Challenge champion in that category and Jim Richards Endurance Trophy winner. So he definitely comes with a bit of experience, and now he's off starting a very fast lap in this qualifying session.
GT's on track, and we've got a GT in the lane as well, and this GT very quick in an Audi. I know you enjoy driving these cars, don't you? They're a beautiful car, and is it driver age you like about it, or is it the aero effect you love about them?
Oh, the fact that they're so different to a supercar, that's the main thing. I mean, having driven a supercar for nearly 20 years, whenever you jump back in the GT car, it's so completely different that I just enjoy the challenge of driving a car. Is very different. A car has a huge amount of more aero, so really for me it's how much of the aero I can get out of the car. That's usually what takes me the most time to get back up to speed.
I think I remember you at Phillip Island not that long ago in these current cars. You were one of the first that got to drive them here in Australia, weren't you? Did it give you a shock just how different this model is than the older model when you first rolled around Phillip Island?
Well, I actually drove the new Audi first. I hadn't driven the old Audi, so new Audi. I've driven the old Audi since, and the gearbox and the aero and everything's a lot nicer in this car. I've been fortunate. I've driven the Aston Martin, I've driven the McLaren, I've driven the Audi, and they've all got their different strengths and weaknesses, which is what makes GT racing unique. But for me, the challenge of jumping out of a car that I'm so comfortable in and so used to in the V8 supercar, then jumping in something like this is completely different, and then testing yourself against the factory guys when they come down to Australia is a lot of fun.
Thanks, GT.
Cool. Cheers.
It's good to have him watching on here. Very handy in anything he steps in, Garth Tander. Now, Fraser Ross jumped up to second with that lap. We were watching it to the left side of our screen when Cam was having a chat with Garth. He's on it here. He's got a bit of speed, but he's just a bit off that time set by Roger Largo, a 121.7. Largo's speed has been exemplary so far. Whatever David Russell's been telling him, it's working.
It's actually very impressive time too, 21.7, even against what we saw in qualifying one a few hours ago against the pro drivers. So Fraser's on a really good lap here, but that's hurt him dearly. Not much Ash could do there.
Dukes that has a Porsche gets out of the way.
And I tell you, just looking at the timesheets, Peter Major in the second Lamborghini Gallardo up into P2. First time in this car. Did 60 laps at Winton last week, just purchased the car. And P2, just behind Roger Largo. So that's a very impressive effort. Again, by someone that I think is ranked AM1. I have to double check his ranking. So similar ranking to Roger Largo, I would imagine. Peter Major, car 14.
There you go, AM1 on the money, Cameron.
So that's going to work very well for him as far as his pit stop time. So It's the 2 Lamborghinis, top of the timesheets at the moment.
What's your ranking going to be when you hop in?
Historic 1, I think. I think a bit like JB as an old, well, I was Pro 3 last year, but as I've turned another year and I'm now in my 40s, I'm hoping I get some leniency by Ken Collier. Here's Pete. So I was fortunate enough to jump in this car last week when he shook it down. It's a beautiful car. Only 1 season of Asian GT. Oh. And Pete's first race having come straight from the 12-hour in a Porsche.
There he goes, tucked in behind Liam Talbot's Porsche. That Walkinshaw Racing prepared car. 122.1. No improvement, but stays in P2, looking pretty clean. Now Emery driving fast laps down in P9. Can he jump up? Goes up a spot to 8th. Nice work as he builds a bit more confidence in the car after that unfortunate accident. Did get a test session in as well, which was great to see, so did some Ks. Look how late they brake and ride those bumps. Also, Yasser Shaheen, we saw that car on a flatbed at the end of the session earlier. Unfortunately, crashing out of qualifying. Will follow Fraser Ross, 1/10 away from that P1 spot. So Yasser spun at turn 10 and just back the left-hand side, and should be fixed for racing. Just couldn't quite make it in time for this session in the Taylor Bend Lamborghini. So many Lambos this weekend, trying to keep up.
Nice lap for Fraser Ross. We know that he sort of had it in him, didn't we? Watching the start to the session or the first 10 minutes, he just couldn't really get a clear lap together. So it looks like he was able to achieve that. Just 8 100ths behind Roger Largo, who's gone back out to have another crack.
It's been an unusual thing for Talbot, having a car all to himself for a weekend. He's been doing quite a bit of endurance racing. Actually, Blancpain Am champion, which is a huge thing to say. You'd only had 2 cracks at that championship and won it. The most competitive GT championship in the world. But all these racing's been sharing cars with quite respected drivers. So to have a car for himself for the weekend will be quite a good experience. He's got the lights on, so he's starting a lap here. He's keen to get on with it. Oh, and he's overcooked it. Oh, and all the excitement.
It was a nice lap prior to that, actually, up into P4. So slotted in just behind Pete Major, Fraser Ross and Roger Largo.
Tony Bates here in the Movement Net entry. He's won the last 9 Carrera Cup races in that challenge class. So 3 years running, he has just annihilated everyone in Carrera Cup. Now is his time to look for a new challenge, and it takes him to the Australian GT Championship. Let's see where he slots into the show. Up to 7th.
Much better lap, 22.65. So just a second off pole. See, it rides the curbs quite well, though, the Mercedes. Lamborghini we saw not so good over the curbs. So it's in very deep there. Managed to miss the apex a little bit, still managed to get round. So it's pushing hard. Just under 3 minutes left.
Emery on a personal best lap. He sits just inside the top 10. Confirmation down the bottom. Let's see how he goes in this last sector. Personal best through 1 and 2. 121.7, the best lap of this session so far. Still 1.3 seconds off pole in that first qualifying session, set by this man's co-driver, Kelvin van der Linde. Long shadow starting to form. Slots up to 6. Improvement of 4 spots. Good session, this. Really enthralling stuff with quite a few drivers changing around inside the top 10. So it's Largo, Ross, Major, Talbot, Honduras. And it's Emery, this man we're watching now. Back to Taylor, who's driving quite well in 7th. Tony Bates, Steve McLaughlin, and Ash Shamadi wrapping up the 10. Just outside the top 10, we see last year's race winner in Tony Walls sitting 11th. Haven't seen too much of the objective McLaren just yet. That is a fast corner. Doesn't matter which way you slice it. From a long way back. Getting it stopped down there as well. Brendan Google, the Bank SA metallic green Lamborghini. First time we see this pop up, yeah.
He's done a little bit in GT and Porsche Cup Challenge over the years. South Australian, so stepping up into a newer car to, as we know, there's 5 of these running this weekend. So time for 1 more lap only. Moves into P20 with a 25.5.
Both Emery and Taylor, it's Greg Taylor, improving on this lap at the moment. Seeing some green light up on the boards. Skrgol goes down towards turn 4. Sun You've been getting pretty low down there, and you're looking into it on approach towards turn 4. Comes James Bergmuller, the BMW M6. Beamers were on it at Bathurst this year. The 3 that made it through to the race were very strong, particularly in qualifying trim.
Yeah, a lot of upgrades flown out from the factory. A lot of German BMW technicians flown into the 12-hour. They hired the track for an extra day leading into the event, so they threw everything at it. And Chaz Mostert was really quick in the first stint at the 12-hour. Unfortunately, they all sort of found trouble varying ways over the day. But certainly this car seems to be a lot more competitive this year.
10 seconds left in the session, and I'm happy to say I'm seeing some purple sectors. We've got Honduras on a lap, and we've got this man on one as well. He recently just jumped up to 3rd. He's on his personal best second sector here. So we've got a pair of Audis, the 74 and the 44, chopping up as the checkered flag flies. Be great news for Jeff Embury to return and maybe snare some more points. They'll go in overnight as the championship leaders if he can follow the form earlier from his co-driver. Can he jump up and snare P1 off Roger Largo? Can't improve. How about James Honduras, though? Shared the car with Marcus Marshall 12 months ago. Had a nasty crash down there at turn 9.
Pete Major popped up into the 21, so he moves up a spot.
And Honduras, it was a good time, but it's only good enough for 4th. It's a logjam at the top. 1 second covering the top 8 cars. Competitive indeed. This driver has not just done enough, but he's looking to improve. He can do a Sebastian Vettel, duck into the pits here and not show the hand, or he can go on to finish the lap. The big V10's going to scream to the line and maybe even go quicker once more. Let's see. Oh, yes, beautiful. Had it up his sleeve the whole time, never in doubt. And the JBS Lamborghini goes quicker by 3/10, a full second slower than the quickest time in qualifying 1. Goes to show the level of driver that we had out there earlier. But that is a really good lap from Roger Largo to top this session and to bag some points.
And should improve his grid spot.
Yeah.
I reckon.
3/10 of a second he went quicker there, so he did a pretty good job there. Largo, Ross, Bates right at the end sneaking in 2, so we didn't see that. It's a really good lap from Tony Bates and Major. So we've got straight away Lamborghini, McLaren, Mercedes, another Lamborghini in P4 and Audi in 5th. So lots of variety. Really exciting session for the Australian GT.